Utah lawmakers are at the state capitol tonight tackling a bunch of hot-button issues during a special session, from redistricting to COVID vaccine mandates and the Dixie State name change. We've got team coverage for you tonight. Let's start with news specialist Lad Egan. Lad, all eyes are on redistricting right now and what our political districts will be for the next 10 years.
Yeah, that's right. This is setting the stage for the next 10 years. And Democrats this evening expressing disappointment at how quickly the congressional map passed here in the House. That now goes on to the Senate. The group Better Boundaries saying that map is heavily gerrymandered and that it's looking at legislative and legal ways to get it repealed and replaced.
We're extremely disappointed that the Legislative Redistricting Committee decided to forward maps that don't meet what Utahns want, which is keeping cities and counties intact and keeping politics out of redistricting.
Lawmakers heard more than 100 public comments during a Republican-controlled committee meeting yesterday, most of them critical of the maps and urging them to instead approve maps that were put forward by the Independent Redistricting Commission. House Speaker Wilson said today that they are selecting maps that best serve the state, while Democrats say they are going to do what they can to change the maps.
And it's bad enough that we have Salt Lake County cut 3 ways currently. Under the new map, it's going to be cut 4 ways, and there's just no good reason for that.
You can keep Salt Lake City whole. You can keep most counties in the state whole or with very minimal splits, and this map doesn't do that.
You literally cannot create 4 congressional districts and not divide up counties. You can't do it.
The congressional map splits the Salt Lake City area into the state's 4 congressional districts. The Princeton Gerrymandering Project released an open memo today about that map saying, quote, this practice is known to professional redistrictors as cracking, since the Salt Lake City community is cracked into 4 parts, each of which is deprived of political power. But Republican lawmakers said they want each member of Utah's federal delegation to represent both urban and rural interests. Another item I'm tracking, a bill that seeks to expand exemptions to the federal COVID-19 vaccine mandate for certain workplaces. It would allow for 3 exemptions: medical, religious, and a strongly held personal belief, and would prohibit an employer from taking action against an employee if they got an exemption. An overflow crowd filled 3 rooms and the hallway, many wanting to make public comment in support of the bill. The committee ran out of time to hear from everyone, and the bill did not move from committee. Back to redistricting, this process is just starting. As we said, the congressional map was approved here in the House. That's headed to the Senate. The Senate approved the school board map. That's now coming here to the House. But as you can see, the lawmakers have gone home for the evening. So, Deanie, they will be back at this special legislative session tomorrow with more votes on redistricting.
Yeah, a lot of interest on what's going on up there, Lad. We will keep checking back. Thanks.
And state lawmakers are considering changing Dixie State University to Utah Tech. But that possibility is causing an emotional rift in the southern Utah community. Team coverage continues with news specialist Mike Anderson, who has been keeping an eye on that hearing today. Mike, what do you know?
Hey, Mike, you know, Utah Tech, of course, the latest proposal after a community put forward Utah Polytechnic. But at the heart of this debate still is what this all means for the community as well as the school's identity. And dozens lined up on both sides today. Some state legislators point out that as a university, the school is no longer a smaller community institution, but should represent the whole state. Utah currently subsidizes Dixie State with about $83 million each year. People from Washington County argued today that Dixie is what pioneers called the area, representing Utah's South and the spirit they enjoyed in working together to build up the area. They say ditching that name would hurt a lot of people for a long time.
I believe that Dixie State and the community should be applauded and not punished. Removing that name is punishing Dixie State University and the community. And they should be applauded for their track record of educating young minds.
And some current students, some past students as well, however, say that Dixie is not a great way to represent the school on a national scale. Some say the university needs a name that represents the school's mission and location.
We're on a path that we're going to have to outgrow our name regardless of what anybody says. I mean, Dixie State University is not a national name, but Utah Tech University or I believe Utah Tech University is a national name, and it would be great for us, just not academically, athletically, even around this whole community.
And a name change committee approved Utah Tech, and the school's president, Stephen Nadal, also shared his support for the change, though he said that does not mean he's against the school's history and heritage. And if the legislature ultimately decides to go with that change, it could cost around $2.7 million.